Right, Senator McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I was on the committee of Hidden in Plain Sight, and along with many other Labor members, and I do, as the Greens have already raised, do commend the Defence Minister Linda Reynolds for her work in bringing this through to the Parliament. I also acknowledge that Chris Crewther MP, then chair of the time and was MP at the time, who chaired it, we did travel over to the UK and we were briefed quite extensively in terms of the UK legislation. So we were able to listen and have evidence brought before us in terms of what worked, what didn't work. And it was quite clear, Mr Acting Deputy President, that the united steps that this Senate and this committee, joint committee, took to push forward this report, which is quite extensive, and we were enormously pleased to push for an anti-slavery commissioner, and clearly very disappointed that it could not progress beyond the current piece of legislation, but there's always hope. I note that New South Wales certainly took the step in terms of the first jurisdiction in Australia to appoint an anti-slavery commission, and I think there's certainly still scope, obviously, for the federal parliament to do the same in terms of this piece of legislation. So that's why it's important that this matter of public importance is brought on in terms of the 10 people who are and have been appointed by the Assistant Minister in this regard. And I bring to the attention of the Senate that there has been tremendous work on this from all sides of the parliament. This isn't just about standing up to raise an issue. This is actually about imploring Minister Wood to actually listen to the concerns that are genuinely being raised here in the Senate through this MPI. We had over 250 submissions to this inquiry to Hidden in Plain Sight, and many of those came from certainly not government organisations or companies. They came from smaller businesses and families, and certainly the groups that aren't taken up in terms of business and corporate companies that wanted to give their views. Certainly the religious quarters, all of those. So I think it's important to acknowledge that they're absent in this. And what about those NGOs? And I pick up on the previous senator's comments. The unions are critical to this. They are very relevant because we're talking about workers and the exploitation of individuals, whether it's in family homes, on farming companies, and we've certainly heard plenty of that when we travelled around Australia. Over 4,000 people, we estimate, to be still in slavery here in Australia. And so we needed to make sure that this expert advisory group reflected the concerns that were raised in our inquiry. So I would certainly urge Chris Crewther, who is on this, to push hard on Jason Wood, MP, Minister, to push hard and make sure you do have union representatives. Make sure you do have other expert advisory groups from civil society who can fairly bring forward a compassionate position, but a very practical one, in terms of the representation they bring on behalf of all those, especially the over 4,000 people that we are aware of in our estimates through this report, who are enslaved here in Australia today. So I'd urge senators to realise the importance of what this MPI is about. You think that these 10 people are being identified as not good enough? We're saying that you could do better. You must do better. So many senators and members have worked so hard on this particular piece of legislation, and we will not stop. We want to see an anti-slavery commissioner in this country. We want to stop slavery, full stop. Over 40 million people around the world are enslaved somewhere. Over 4,000 of them are here in Australia. So this is a matter of public importance.